I love this scene, and I think I'm in agreement with a ton of the fandom when I say that I really want this scene in the show. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Faith, and thank you so much for watching. The official trailer for Off Campus was finally released just a few days ago, so today we're gonna go over 10 things from the book that I really want to see in the show. And to be clear, all but one of these are exclusive to book 1 and season 1, so this doesn't cover the series as a whole because we would be here for a while. And before I say anything else, I would just like to say this video will contain minor spoilers for the Off Campus series, especially The Deal. Garrett Graham is literally tied as my #1 book boyfriend with Maverick Miller from Face Off, and The Deal is also tied with Face Off as my favorite romance book. So I think it's safe to say I am very excited for the show, but I'm also very nervous because I just love it so much and I want them to do it perfectly. But without further ado, let's talk about the 10 things that I need to see in the show. First up, we have Garrett and Logan's relationship. Their friendship is everything to me. It is one of my favorite parts about the entire series. And they also remind me of me and Bestie Ellie, so obviously I want to see that on screen. Now, Logan was barely in the trailer, so I am a little bit worried that their friendship dynamic is not going to be the same in the show as it is in the book. However, the book isn't about Garrett and Logan, it's about Garrett and Hannah, so obviously the trailer is going to feature Garrett and Hannah's relationship. So I'm not super worried that their friendship will differ from the show to the book. However, I just love their friendship so much and I need it to be included so bad that I am slightly worried that it won't make it in there. And moving on to a much more serious topic, I really hope that they don't downplay Hannah's SA and Garrett being abused as a child. I have seen people say that it's been confirmed that Hannah's SA will still be a plot point in the series, and I know that they did cast somebody as Phil Graham, but those things are so insanely important to both characters' individual stories, so I kind of feel like downplaying any part of it could potentially limit any character depth that we have to both Hannah and Garrett. Also, as kind of crappy as this sounds, Hannah's SA does play a very large role in Hannah and Garrett inevitably getting together. Him helping her work through that is what allowed them to get closer in the first place. So if they change or downplay any part of that, they're gonna have to change so much of how Hannah and Garrett got together. Part of their respective character development in the book is them realizing that the things that happened to them in their past doesn't define them. And I think it's important that real life survivors of SA and child abuse have that kind of representation in the media. But back to lighter topics, we have the Dean and Hannah kiss. I love this scene and I think I'm in agreement with a ton of the fandom when I say that I really want this scene in the show. 1, I just think it's hilarious, and 2, it is one of the more memorable Dean moments from The Deal. And I also think that that actually plays a pretty big role in both Hannah and Garrett realizing that they have feelings for each other. Like, Garrett obviously got very jealous, and Hannah obviously was like, this isn't as nice as kissing Garrett. So I really want to see that scene make it into the show. And next, this one kind of goes with Hannah's SA storyline, but Hannah's family being broke. I feel like Hannah's parents are the definition of good parents. And for some reason, I just feel like it is so common for characters to have bad parents. And considering Garrett's father is I just really want to see Hannah's parents being fantastic parents. Like, they literally spent all of their money on legal fees to help her fight her rapist in court. And Hannah feels so guilty about it, which is another reason I want it to be included, because that is also really important to her character development. And her parents are kind of just like, don't you dare feel guilty, we would do this 10,000 times over. They are just such great parents, and I really hope that at the least their parenting dynamic is still present in the show. And this is a direct quote that better be in the show. Garrett and Hannah are on a phone call and Garrett asks her to sing to him and she's like, fine, but feel free to hang up if you get bored. And Garrett says, baby, I could watch you watch paint dry and I still wouldn't be bored. That is my favorite quote in this book, possibly in the entire series. Like, he is just so in love with her and I'm in love with him. Garrett Graham, I wish you were real. Elle Kennedy knows how much we love that quote, so I'm really hoping she fought for it to be in the script. And then we have one of the hottest scenes in the entire book, and that would be Garrett fighting Rob. Incredible. For this one, I would be okay with a substitution as long as it would be Aaron, aka Hannah's rapist. I would just love to see Garrett beat the crap out of him. One of my favorite microtropes is a confrontation with the crappy ex. And that scene is even better than that. So I really just need to see that scene in the show. And again, for this one, I would be okay with the substitution, but it better be there in some capacity. And then we have Phil threatening Hannah. First of all, I hate Phil, and I hate the scene because him having the audacity to have her break up with him, insane. But the scenes that we get from that are too good. It needs to be included. And again, I just feel like that scene plays such a pivotal part in their relationship. Not including it wouldn't really make sense. That being said, if they change a lot of stuff about their relationship, obviously they can make it make sense without it. I just hope they don't change that much about their relationship and that scene is included. And then we have the one that I will be the most upset about if it's not included. The hands-off rule. The hands-off rule is what led me to the series in the first place. I saw a snippet of the scene on TikTok years ago and it led me to reading the books. And honestly, I feel like that scene led a ton of people to the books. It's literally just so iconic. I don't even think I need to really expand anymore on that, guys. Obviously, it needs to be included. Okay, this one is the one that refers to the whole series and not the deal in season 1. I am fairly certain that this is an unpopular opinion, but I want Logan's season to be season 2. It has already been renewed for season 2. However, there is no confirmation whether it is going to be Logan and Grace's season or Dean and Allie's season, and there are a ton of rumors going around right now that it will be Dean and Allie's season. And there also was a little Dean and Allie teaser in the trailer, so honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they get it season 2, but I want Logan and Grace next. Logan is my second favorite man in the series, second only to the one and only Garrett Grant. So obviously I want his season sooner than later. I also just would rather it follow the order of the books. Now, I've seen a lot of people say that it would make sense for them to have Dean and Allie be season 2 because most people's favorite couple is either Garrett and Hannah or Dean and Allie. And people are saying it'd be smart to have the two favorite couples go first so that they can kind of ride the high out through the rest of the series. But I completely disagree with that. I actually think that that argument works better if they are to keep it at season 3. If they put Dean and Allie second, they could lose a ton of viewership if nobody wants to watch Logan and Tucker. Obviously, I will be sat watching all of them, but, you know, a lot of people do only care about Garrett and Hannah and Dean and Allie. But if they kept Dean and Allie at season 3, is it possible they would lose viewership in season 2? Yes. However, there's enough hype around Dean and Allie for them to renew it for a 3rd season and make the Dean and Allie season. And then if season 3 is a success, they could renew it for season 4 and get 4 full seasons. If they choose to have Dean and Allie season 2 and their viewership significantly drops, there's a chance they don't renew it for season 4. Will I be sat for John and Logan's season, whether it comes 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 10,000th? Yes. But I don't want to wait that long, and I don't care if I'm in the minority. I want him for season 2. I would also just prefer that they stick to the book timeline. Plus, the score and the goal have overlapping timelines, so if they moved the score to season 2, they would have to change a lot about the goal. And this last thing kind of does go with that, but I want Logan to have a crush on Hannah. We definitely see a lot more of his crush on Hannah in The Mistake compared to The Deal, but truthfully, I don't care how long we see it in the books, I need it in the show. That is such a crucial part of Logan's character development, because obviously, as we know, he didn't have a crush on Hannah, he just kind of envied what Hannah and Garrett had. And his character development throughout The Mistake is going from playboy to lover boy, and that is such an important part of it. Obviously, yes, having a crush on your best friend's girlfriend is messy, but again, he didn't really have a crush on her. It was just like the idea of a loving girlfriend. But another reason I want Logan as season 2 is because that crush thing would get kind of messy if Logan was pushed to season 3, because then, assuming they keep that in, he would need to have a crush on Hannah throughout the entirety of season 2. And I think the longer he thinks he has a crush on Hannah, the messier it becomes. That being said, I love messy TV. And those are 10 things that I want to see in the off-campus show. Obviously, there is so much more than that. I do hope they stay as loyal to the books as possible. And I know the trailer and some other behind-the-scenes things have shown us that it's not going to be the most accurate, but I am still holding out hope that it remains fairly accurate. All 8 episodes of season 1 will be available on Amazon Prime on May 13th, aka my birthday. And I am so excited because I love the series so much. And that is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram and my TikTok, which are in the description for more bookish content. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Love you guys. Bye!